Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PowerUp podcast. In today's episode, which should be shorter than the weeks prior, we have a lot of news, including some new game reveals, which is exciting. And we will be covering the topic of backlogs and how we choose what to play. But before we get into that, Grubb, why don't you tell everyone listening and watching what news we personally have going on?
So since the start of this podcast, we have had a Discord server where it was limited time access only for those who donated during my Thankmas stream. Now, though, it is open for everyone. And all you have to do is click the link in the descriptions below to gain access. Now, those already in do have like a premium where they can see bloopers from the episodes and also give us suggestions completely for free. So if you want to get that access, you can still get it. All you have to do is donate £10 to the chosen charity, which is currently linked in the description down below. And this charity will change from time to time. Right now, it is the charity I have chosen, and that is the Race for Life for Cancer Research in memory of my nan. And in around 6 months' time, we'll change it to something which Ace wants to donate for. Again, once you've donated, just let us know, and we will give you the roles as soon as possible. And again, for those who will donate and have donated, thank you so much. It really means a lot. Ace, now, getting into it, what have you been doing this week?
I've been doing pretty good. This week it's crazy. I mean, we got 2 feet of snow outside, so I've been kind of cooped up, which, let me do some decent gaming. But I released a video this week, a God of War video, and I'll add it to the counter. So that's exciting. I'm super proud of that. I put a lot of time into it. And then I've been working on the next one too. So I've been playing a decent amount. But it's been a good week. Just been staying inside and being safe because screw driving in the snow. How have you been?
We'll also add some pictures of the snow because Ace has sent me some on Discord, and
Oh, I'll get better ones too.
you'll get
I'll
better
go
ones.
outside after this and get better ones. Send them to you. Yeah.
Snow Angel, please send a video
Yeah.
and I'll add it. So for those who just listening, you might not actually see. Just pretend snow angels, and I'll add it in now. So Ace did the right thing and stayed inside during the storm, so we didn't get any recording of any snow angels. That's fine. We got some photos anyway, and you could just see how much snow actually happened. It's insane. So yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed the little snow angels. Hopefully, obviously, I don't know whether that's gonna happen or not. So whether Ace actually wants to get freezing cold.
Yeah.
But no, we've not had snow, luckily, but I've still been stuck inside. My car broke down. So it's the engine, so I think it's a bye-bye to my car. Tomorrow we're going car hunting, so it's gonna be expensive, but it means I've been
Mhm.
able to play some more games. Because Beth's been in work anyway, but it's been Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I've went from chapter 3 to 9. I'm at a boss now, which is it's so difficult. Hell House. If you played Final Fantasy VII Remake, you know how difficult Hell House is. There's so many one-hit deaths in that fight. It's so frustrating. Like, you do so well, fully healed, and then these things come in and they have like a chef knife and they one-hit you, and it's just there like, no, please, no. So yeah, stuck on there after like 5 attempts, and then I've also been doing Power Wash Simulator. So good still. So good still. We're nearly 100 stars, so closer to
Oh,
platinum. Closer to platinum. Yeah. Also been writing the script for my own video. But yeah, miles away. Miles away.
yeah.
Yeah, that was my week. On to the news now, and like you mentioned before, this is more news than we had in the prior 2 weeks.
Hmm.
um so I'll start off with the first one. So during the week, because of Hogwarts Legacy's success, it was announced and promised that there will be new Harry Potter video games moving on from this point. And now there's already a Quidditch World Cup game, I'm pretty sure, coming out very soon. which is probably why it wasn't in Hogwarts. How dare they keep Quidditch out of Hogwarts Legacy? Like, come on, that's one of the biggest things in Harry
Hmm.
Potter world, and you you took it away from us, man. But probably because of this game that's coming out, they didn't want you to have Quidditch and then Quidditch again. They wanted to make a new
Hmm.
game. So yeah, that's exciting for people who like Harry Potter. I mean, yeah, I'll probably play the games like Harry Potter. Obviously don't like the person behind Harry Potter, but you know, like the universe. And again, like we've mentioned before, if I like the games and stuff, I'm gonna buy them. Like,
Right.
yeah, it's one of those. There's negatives in buying anything, so you know, I've just got to find my enjoyment and kind of live with it.
Right.
You a Harry Potter fan, and would you play new Harry Potter games?
I mean, yeah, as long as, like I said, the person behind it isn't involved. Like they weren't with Hogwarts Legacy, so I don't see any issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's her property, which it sucks that she still gets money from it. I'm sure, but if she's not personally tied to it, then I don't see too big of an issue. And again, you kind of do what you want, what makes you happy. So
Yeah, more money to a celebrity who's got pretty much all the money they need anyway. So like,
yeah, right,
my purchase of a video game really isn't gonna go into their pocket that much.
right,
So yeah, it is what it is. On to the
yeah,
next bit of news.
yeah. MSI officially announced the Claw. This is what they're calling it. It's a handheld gaming PC that's going to compete with Steam Deck. Um, I, do they have like pictures of it out yet?
They
I
do.
guess I didn't look into it. How does it look?
Um, it looks all right. It looks like a handheld. Like I
Yeah,
don't
okay.
I don't really think they change much out of anything. But I think it was announced during the CES live streams that were on all week long. Like there was some good
Mm-hmm.
like technology announced during there. I watched. I think it was LG announce a TV that was transparent. Crazy.
Yep.
Absolutely mental what they're doing. And then you can flick it up and then it's not transparent. Um, see what they're trying to do to make it not look like there's a TV there, so like it's not in the way, because TVs can invade space, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the TV makes the room, But
Right.
MSI Claw, is it necessary? I don't know. There's so many handhelds. You've got the Switch, like you've got the Steam Deck if you really want to play PC games. Do we really? I mean, competition's good, but do we need it?
Right. I mean, you got the PlayStation Portal too, which is another one. I mean, seems like everyone's trying to make one because people just want to be able to do it from wherever and be on the go.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It depends on the quality of it and how you integrate like a game library to it. So
Yep. And I'm pretty sure it was boasting a 2-hour battery life for like playing like a peak like optimization and performance. 2 hours? You
mm,
serious? If I'm gonna be
right,
gaming, I want it more than 2 hours, man.
right.
And especially at the price, like I don't think they've revealed the price, but it's gonna be expensive. Like they
Hmm.
always are. Like I kind of want more battery life and better performance. So
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. It's always the question. Probably not needed, but again, competition is always good because they force each other to like be better in the future. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's just expensive. Um,
Yeah.
the next one is also very, very expensive. So during the Game Awards, it was announced that Final Fantasy VII will cross over with Apex Legends. I mean, who would have thought Apex and Final Fantasy VII? Like wow, crossover, incredible. The outrage is because all the items in that crossover, to get them all, it's £300 worth of, I'm pretty sure, crates that you need to open. That is ridiculous for anyone who's playing a free to play game of Apex. you're expecting them to pay £300. That's ridiculous. I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, if you've played Apex, I mean, over the recent months and I guess even year and a half ish, they have these collection events. I feel like once every month or 2 months,
Hmm.
and it's the main reward, like the heirloom reward, is always locked behind a huge price point like this. So to me, it's not entirely surprising. Um, it it is annoying, and they've been doing it, and I don't think they're going to change doing it because, like you said, they're free to play, and with the crossover as big as Final Fantasy, that it makes sense for them to charge it that much. It's just annoying, and I don't personally like it because there's also be different if there was a way in game to get those crates,
Yeah,
even if it was like a super like heavy amount of time that you had to put in. But there really isn't a way. If there is, it's usually like 1 or 2 crates,
yeah.
and that's it. So no, I don't like it. But
They could make literally the item at the end the same rarity as like the Mystic, is it? No. Forgot what they're called.
yeah,
The
yeah, they're missed like the heirlooms.
Yeah, the heirlooms, but the shards that you need, they could have it as the same rarity as them, like one in
All
five
right.
hundred. So they
Mm-hmm.
could have it like that, where you could get this crossover item. You don't have to pay the £300. Like I think people would be well, not happy with that because that's an insane amount of crates you need to open. But like
Mm-hmm.
they've got to make it at least accessible for like the people who can't afford the £300 because that's
Right.
ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Just especially with cost of living, people can't even afford food right now still, and other stuff, and you're charging people £300. Again, it's optional, but like it'll be nice to
Right.
have. So,
Right. I stand behind. There should always be a way to earn these rewards, even if it, like I said, it's behind a super long amount of like playtime you have to put in.
mm-hmm.
Just it should be available to everyone
Yep,
in some way, shape, or form.
agreed, agreed.
So I'm just realizing like our our news here up until the next one after this is they're all like upsetting, I guess, Harry Potter. But anyway, Twitter and Discord announced big layoffs of employees. And Twitch also revealing that they're still not profitable and that Amazon has been supporting them immensely. Um, so I guess you know, being a streamer and everything, what do you think about it?
I mean, Twitch not being profitable isn't exactly a secret. It
Right.
hasn't been profitable for a very long time. Um, and I've always wondered why, because like you're taking 50% of like subs, you're also taking a bit of bits, you also get ad revenue. But I think what it is just like the big streamer contracts are just so high, like, and they're not
Mm-hmm.
making money from them. And obviously, I think one of the big things, and I think Dan Clancy talked about it, was during COVID and lockdown, they hired so many people because Twitch was booming. Like
Mm-hmm.
during that phase, it was everyone was online because they couldn't go out. So I think they employed that many people that it was just they couldn't sustain having that many employees. And like I'm sorry for those who have lost their jobs now because it sucks. Like imagine one day you're needed and then the next day it's like, hang on, no, we actually can't afford you. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Like it's horrible. And again, even Discord's doing it, and Discord, yeah, I mean, probably the same. Lockdown, everyone was using Discord. Everyone was needing
Mm-hmm.
Discord Nitro because they wanted to be in the chats. They wanted better quality. Now everyone's probably back to work, probably just on PlayStation Party, Xbox Party. Um, yeah, like Discord isn't as needed anymore, really, for
Mm-hmm.
just like friend groups. So it's a shame. There's a lot of technology, internet companies that are just laying off people because they just can't sustain it anymore. They're making a loss, and it kind of is strange because it's all in the gaming area. So it's like, is gaming just not profitable anymore? Like, it's weird.
Mm-hmm. right. So I don't. Again, it's really sad for like the people who work there, and I think you nailed it on the head with like the ramp up from COVID, and they're like overloaded, so they hire a bunch of people because they've never been in those kind of waters before
Hmm.
with that kind of traffic, and then when it comes back to like normal, the normalized world and everything, and then you just have all these employees with, not the same amount of workload to go around.
Yeah.
Um, and it, it's weird, like you said, because everything is going so digital and so online, like all over the place. You would think that these would be the spots that are flourishing because of that, because they've been in, the digital world for longer than most companies. But I don't know. It's weird to see.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with less people gaming now and less people being on Twitch watching and streaming. Like I've noticed so many people who I watched 3 years ago, they're not streaming anymore.
Hmm.
So like the amount of people on Twitch just has dropped. Like a lot of people who my regulars 2 years ago, like there's only a few that remain because everyone's in the real world doing real world stuff. Like one of my mods literally messaged me 2 months ago saying he was deleting Discord and Twitch because he's moved on. Like he appreciates everything during the time that like he was my mod and stuff, but like
Hmm.
he's living his life. He's having the best time of his life right now, and he like wished me the best. I wished him the best back. It's like Twitch isn't everything. It's not gonna last forever for some people.
Right.
So yeah, again, it's always a shame. Like you miss them, kind of.
Hmm.
You grow an attachment to the people because they stick around, they support you. You get to know them, and then when it is time for them to like kind of move on, it's sad. It's hard.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah. Something else that's sad. Smite 2 revealed. Ugh.
Wow. Wow. What a horrible segue. I'm so excited for this.
We'll cut that out.
Oh, so Smite 2 being revealed. I I know your favorite phrase is Smite is shite. Um, I personally love the game.
Mm-hmm.
I love the whole premise behind it.
Yep.
Um, and it's my favorite MOBA. I just everything about it, like God's mythology, that kind of thing. It's the big drawing point to it. But a new one, it excites me because I don't know why, but I like being there for the start of game cycles. So Smite 2 hopefully will have a new like mastery system and everything, so then I can try to be on top of that. That's one of the things I wanted to try to do all the time with Smite is get all the gods diamond. And if you play the game, that takes a very 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 long time. Um, so hopefully Smite 2 kind of resets that and has a smaller god pool too, because I know the new Smite has an insane god pool. I know it's in the hundreds, probably around like 130, 150, somewhere around there.
Yep.
Um, but no, I'm really excited for it, and it'll be on Unreal Engine 5. And from what I read, it'll some of the gods will have more physics based powers. So that'll be interesting how that goes. More stuff to be broken, I'm sure. So that'll be great.
I mean,
But
as much as I always call Smite the word, you know, I have played it. I've played quite a bit of it, to be fair. Like, the amount of hours I've played, like, it's not as much as most, but, like, I have played. And
mhm.
I do enjoy it. It's just, it's not my style of game. Especially when you get ganged up on by 5 enemies who are in the wrong lane, and you're just there like, what are you doing here? Get away from my lane, man! And they just kill you. So,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, the learning curve in that game was so great, and I just don't have the time to learn every single move, learn how to combat every single move as well on the enemy team, learn how to play each role like jungle, solo, duo, middle. I think it's duo.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think I was duo because I was carry. I was the
Mhm.
best. Don't know. I had the gun.
80 ADC.
Huh?
Oh,
No,
with the gun?
I had the gun and I could jump backwards and I could boom. It was new. Dan? Is it Dan?
Danzaburo?
Dan Zabura. Yeah, I was the best. Like no one could match me. I promise. That
Yeah,
was terrible.
Dumbledore was. Oh, that character when he released. I mean, it's a thing with Smite too. When characters release, they are normally broken. But Donza was another level. I have a screenshot on my Twitter from when I was streaming and playing this game a lot, where I think I went like 29-0 with him. It's just he's so broke. He was, I should say. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know the
why I
state of
played him.
any of them anymore. But
That's fine.
yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I literally like messaged my two brothers and Chunt, about this because we usually play this game a bunch, at least once a year. So I'm sure we'll all be ready for it when it comes out. Yeah, excited.
Fair enough.
And then another really exciting thing for me personally. I don't think it really matters to you.
No.
Have you ever played Madden like at all,
I have.
even a minute?
I have.
Okay, okay. So Madden 24 finally released franchise crossplay, so like career mode in EA Sports or EAFC, whatever. Um, Basically, you can play that mode now in crossplay. So like, I have a friend um, from Iowa who we play this all the time, and we haven't this year because um, he got rid of his PS4 and he just has a next gen Xbox, so we haven't been able to play it. But now that is released, once he recovers from wisdom tooth surgery, we're going to be getting on that and playing it. So I think it's massive because franchise is the only mode I play Madden for now.
Mm-hmm.
The community for it is big, and they promised this before the game dropped, and they said it'd be shortly after release, but we're 5 months after that, so it's a little past due, but it's here regardless. So
Well, hopefully with this, now that they've added it into one game, Madden 25, it should be in the game from the start. So hopefully it's a good thing. Maybe it was late for this game, and obviously they promised it. I'm sure they'll all apologize. But like, at least it's there. At least you can now
right,
enjoy it. It's not like they promised it and they didn't actually do it.
right.
So yeah, not the
I
end of
mean,
the
as
world.
long as I'm all for it coming out this late, as long as because if they have to take the time to make sure it works, I would rather them release it now than release it when they said they were going to, and it'd be all buggy and not work because that would just be frustrating. So
It's true.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
it
have
is
played
only
some
in
Madden.
beta. So
I have played some
yeah,
Madden, by the way. Yeah,
which do you remember which one you played?
not really. I don't.
No.
The thing that confused me is just all like the different layouts that you can run and stuff like that. It just confuses me. I was just like,
Yeah.
how do I know what they're running? Like,
Yeah.
how do I stop them when I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't know enough to like. Oh yeah, by the way, they have one player there. That means they're going long or something, or they're gonna
Yeah.
run
Right.
at me. So yeah, I'd like to get into it because I mean the sport looks fun. You don't have the timeouts and stuff in the game really. You just time out and then get straight back into it. So I think the
Mhm.
game is more interesting than the actual sport in my eyes. The only one I've really watched is the Super Bowl from time to time. Um, well, I'm from the UK, so like I'm not
Well,
gonna.
I know, but it's the Super Bowl is so commercial filled and so heavy on that part of it. It's different from like regular season games, um, but it is the same. Like you could find the stats on it. American football, like the amount of time the actual event is versus the time where they're in play and stuff is way different than other sports. So I get it.
I mean, it'll be similar to basketball. But like basketball's fast paced anyway when it's
Hmm.
on. Whereas American football, they could be standing still, like, yeah, I'm fucking gonna throw this ball backwards in a second, and you're gonna fucking not know what I'm doing. Uh-huh. 3, 2, 1, oi!
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I think a reason I like Madden way more than actually watching the sport too is just because I know it's on only once every week. Like your team only plays once every week, which I know it's similar to football over there, although sometimes you guys do have multiple games a week. Um, it's just I like to be able to move through the shit faster than having to wait this long because it goes from like September to February.
Hmm.
So, I don't know.
That makes sense.
Gives me more of a dose of it.
It does. It does. Fills in the void. Fills in the
Right.
void.
Yeah. So, and then another, I guess, yeah, this is all like me news here. Jade is revealed to be in the next Mortal Kombat movie. Did you watch the first one? I know you don't really watch movies, but yeah, okay. Well, the first one, I guess, of the new like reboot. It was okay. I didn't really enjoy it. The third act was good. But the protagonist. Which one's the good guy? Is that
Bro.
protagonist? Yeah, I don't really like him, and I know that's a popular belief because he's like an added character only for the movies. Um, but and then the whole third act is pretty much Scorpion versus Sub-Zero, which is like what everyone wants to see, and it was super good. But Jade, who's one of my favorite characters just in the franchise, is going to be in the second one, which also has Johnny Cage, which will be good. Um, I just hope it's better than the last one. I really do. So it was kind of a letdown, in all honesty.
Well,
I don't blame you for not watching it, and honestly, I wouldn't recommend it unless you like love Mortal Kombat.
I
So
I don't play fighting games, so like this is
yeah,
just something that doesn't really ring a bell for me to go and watch or
yeah,
even buy. So like, I don't know. I think I used to watch some like Mortal Kombat when I was younger. I was just not a fan really.
yeah. I
Um,
don't blame you. Like I said, if you're wanting to watch it, like and hoping it's a good movie, don't. It's not. Say like only watch it if you are a fan of the franchise and just
you've
like
been
for me,
warned.
I just wanted to see the characters in a movie. I just thought that part was cool. So
Like, oh my god, on a big screen now, not my
yes,
small one.
right.
Oh, but no, I've got another one now. It's moving away from your reveals to to a reveal that can be potentially for both of us. I reckon we could both give this game a go. PS5 revealed a game called Sun and Bone. A PlayStation exclusive as well. Sorry, Xbox. Made by Team Kill Media. Which is a first-person shooter set in prehistoric times, where the player will have access to a multitude of modern weapons. RPGing a dinosaur will be so funny. RPG.
Yeah, yeah.
And something that you put down in the notes. The game does not look to take realism too seriously, and I could tell
Mhm.
that from the trailer. So if anyone hasn't seen the trailer, I'd recommend it. It does look very janky though.
Yeah. Which I never played Quantum Error, which was their last game, but I saw that it got a 40 on Metacritic, and it didn't really get too great reviews.
Mm.
So I think they're hoping for a bounce back. Janky, I mean, it can work, um,
PS5 though.
but yeah, yeah, I don't know. I think the charm in this game is kind of what you said, blowing up a dinosaur with an RPG. I think it's just the thought of it. Um,
Uh,
is where this game will get most of its play. Like I mean that's kind of the reason I want to play it. In all honesty, it just
uh,
it just seems like a fun concept in all reality.
mm-hmm. And I was reading a blog post about it, and they were saying that they wanted to fill the void in the shooters in the dino area. But we're getting so many dinosaur games. Like, they were getting the Jurassic Park one.
Hmm.
We've I'm pretty sure Ark is getting a second game which has dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's
there's
that's out too. Arc Survival Ascended.
oh, is it
So
out?
I'm pretty like I'm 60% sure,
Yeah,
which I
maybe
know
it
isn't a high
was.
percentage, but
No, it's not. But there's quite a lot of games at the moment trying to fill that void, so some are gonna fail. Like someone just
right.
not gonna be profitable. But we both mentioned this because we both watched the trailer before we started the podcast. It looks very Doom like.
Hmm.
Um, it's a Doom with dinosaurs, and it's not all dinosaurs. There seems to be a different type of enemy in there, like lizards with knives. It looked like, I
Yeah,
don't
like
know.
some humanoid looking things, which I'm sure it ties into the story because apparently it's, I think you're like a cop or a sheriff or something that's on a hunt and you get somehow taken into prehistoric times. So I'm sure it's something tied in with the story.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know. The combat's apparently going to be super fast paced and gory, which again, that's Doom like. And I guess we'll just have to wait and see more of it revealed.
Hmm.
Um, and depending on the pricing, I don't know. I'll definitely play it at some point because, like I said, it's just a fun premise. But I don't know if it'll be a day one thing.
No, I don't think it'll be a day one thing for me. And normally with some PlayStation exclusives, it finds its way onto the PS Plus catalog pretty
Mm-hmm.
quickly. So
Yeah.
depending on how well it does, it might be on there pretty quick. Um,
Right.
but speaking of PlayStation Plus, this week we are getting 14 new games. There's some pretty big ones in there, like normal. There is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, basically Borderlands spin-off.
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil 2, PS5 and PS4 edition. That's a game that I need to replay, so thank you. Hard Space Shipbreaker, PS5. Lego
Yeah.
City Undercover. Um, I mean, just a Lego game. It looks cool. Just
Mm-hmm.
Cause 3. If you want to blow things up before Sun and Bone, Just Cause 3. Fast paced, blow anything up.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, you can have an absolute blast with that game. If you like breaking things and you find that fun, this is the game for you. But you probably already know that. You've probably already played this game.
Right.
If you know that's your type of game.
Mm-hmm.
Session Skate Sim, PS5 and PS4. Shadow Tactics Blade of the Shogun, PS4. Vampire the Masquerade, Swan Song, PS5 and PS4. That's a very long title, holy. And then Surviving the Aftermath, PS4. They're all for PlayStation Extra. And then for PS Plus, we've got Rallycross, which is a PS1 game. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Are we back in the 2000s? PS1. Um, Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, PS4. Legend of Mana, PS4. And The Secret of Mana. So, any game that takes your fancy from the PlayStation Extra Premium games?
Probably Tiny Tina's Wonderlands mainly. I'm a big fan of Borderlands, and I have not gotten to play the spinoff. Resident Evil 2 would be another one too. I need to play through that series and start with the remakes and stuff. I've only ever played 5, so
Start
I
with
want to play
0.
through them. So yeah, I'll have to.
Resident Evil 0, then 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 when they make them. Because it's going to happen. I mean, they're on 8 right now.
Right. I guess that's one thing. Like, is the new ones that they keep coming out with, are they? I just am confused with the timeline and like what
Just,
order to play them in. I guess.
they're in the same time limit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Because like with was it Resident Evil? Was it Biohazard or whatever? Like I
7.
was confused on that. That's 7. Okay.
Yep.
See, I know Village is 8 because that was like the whole thing in the title. But
Hmm. The only bit that's, if you want to play chronologically, is like play part of 2, then 3, and then the rest of 2, I think. Yeah, you'll understand when you play the games. Like, just search online chronological order. You have to play either 2 or like part of 3 first before you play 2 and then play the rest. Um, just because then you understand the events.
yeah.
Um, or you could just play 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just go, so that's why this was like this. Like, you'll understand that. But no, highly recommend Resident Evil. I need to play 7 and 8 because I've played all the other ones.
Mm,
Um, they're so good. They're really good. And 2 is one of the best. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
2 is one of the best. 3 is very short. But I bought the bundle, Resident Evil 2 and 3, so I played both of them. And I also bought the bundle for 4, 5, and 6, so I've played all of them as
Mm.
well. but I need to play the new Resident Evil 4. Looks very good.
Yeah.
So, on to the main topic now. Backlogs and what we choose to play. So, backlogs are basically the bane of everyone's existence for anyone who plays video games, essentially, or even anything. Like, you could have a backlog of books if you're a book reader.
Hmm.
If you've got maybe artwork, you've got a backlog of like ideas type of thing. Backlogs are just everywhere. But in gaming terms, it's a collection of video games that you haven't yet played, finished, or just want to play. That's essentially what it is. I'm pretty sure everyone knew that. I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew what type of backlog we were talking about.
Hmm.
And I think the first topic that we want to talk about is, why do people have backlogs? Because it seems like such a strange thing to have like more than you can play.
Yeah, I think it just for a lot of people it just keeps track of stuff because there are so many games that come out. Um, like you might if you have a backlog and you're pretty well organized, you note down a game when it comes out, especially if you can't buy it right away, or if there's a bunch of releases like in the same month, you just can't afford it. And then later down the line, you kind of forget about the game. And then as you're looking through your backlog, you're like, oh, yeah, I want to play this game. And then like you see it's free or something. So I, I think a lot of people just do it to be organized and to know what they have, especially with how big catalogs are now, too, just to know what's available and like
Mm-hmm.
what you have downloaded, what's available to you.
Yeah, and I think like you said it there about games that you haven't bought, but like I think that's a whole different list other than a backlog. I guess you could have it in the backlog, but like that's not exactly your backlog because you haven't actually got the game yet.
Right.
Um, they're more in your like to be bought,
Yeah.
not to be played. Well, I mean, I guess once you buy them, I mean, I do write some games down which I haven't bought yet, but I'm like, I'll get it. So it's in my
Yeah.
backlog. So I guess I understand your point. Um, it's just crazy because most people always aim to complete their backlog. Like, just never successful. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anyone be successful when it comes to playing all the games in their backlog. Like,
Yeah.
oh no, it's a weird one. Um, but why do you think that is? Why do you think people don't complete them? Like.
Because again, there's just so much stuff that comes out. Games take longer to complete now than they like ever really have, just on average.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time, especially if you have a full time job and a family, that kind of thing, by the time you get done with one game, two more that you want to play come out, and it's just a never ending cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and obviously, with the backlog, it doesn't include games you already have played that you want to go back and play. Um, so sometimes you always just play a favorite that you have, and it takes up time from completing your backlog. There's a lot of factors that
Mm-hmm.
go into it.
I know in mine though, you say like, about the replaying. I have all the games, and if I want to replay them, I have basically a drop down. It goes completed, replay, and like
Oh,
100%
okay.
completed and stuff. So if I ever want to replay, like have a really good time, I'll just put replay, and so like that's theoretically still in my backlog, even though I've already played it. So like,
Yeah.
but I don't prioritize them, and we'll talk about the choices later on. Um, I think the people with the most backlog are those who have like all consoles as well. Like I've seen some people's backgrounds and I've seen some people's game like they have thousands of games ranging from the PS1 Sega all the way up to the latest. I just think it's
Hmm.
incredible. Like how do they have time to play them all?
Right.
It's just like I
And
struggle now with just my 300 games. I say
right.
300, like that's a little amount. Like I've been boasting about my backlog since I started streaming. Like
Hmm.
it's one of the main reasons I started streaming because I was like, I have this backlog. I might as well stream it because maybe I find people who also enjoy these games. And do you want to know how much percent I've probably scratched off? 10%.
Yeah.
10% of my backlog in 3 years.
Mhm.
Oh, it's insane because every single time I add more games because I keep buying.
Right.
I'm just, yeah, it's annoying. And as a trophy hunter, I don't just play games; I complete them to the full. So games take so much longer. When you try and platinum them, there is a lot of games which are incomplete right now, but I'll go back to them eventually. So they're still in my backlog.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think another factor, and you've said it's a never-ending cycle. Just the fact that these games now are just constantly on sale.
Mhm.
It's like, how often do you look at sales?
I, there's not necessarily like a set amount of time that I do it. It's usually if I think like if it pops into my brain, I just quickly go because I have the PlayStation app. That's the only console I have. Or not, I guess I have Switch, but um, and I look on the sales on there, and every time there's just a bunch of games on there that I want. I can't afford them all, but
Hmm.
like yeah, there's just so many constantly on sale that look good that I want to play. It's it's too much.
It's bad. It
Hmm.
is like you see just something that takes your eye. You're just there like, oh, Bioshock Collection, £10. That's going straight in my basket, and
Yeah, right.
straight up just buy it instantly without a care in the world. And then you're going, well, where's that gonna go in the list of 300 games that I've got?
Yep.
When I don't think I'm playing this for the next 2 years. And but then you've also got to think like if you're a member of PlayStation Plus, which we both are, we get free games every month.
Hmm.
So they're also factoring in the backlog. Like I got 2 games that I want to play. The A Plague's Tale, and there's another one in this month that I really want to play. That's 2 additional ones, and I didn't buy them, but now I have 2 games where I'm like, I need to platinum these games, and it's just
Yep.
I don't have time.
Yeah. That's I guess that's the main thing. There's just not enough hours in the day unless you are like a full time content creator.
Hmm.
It's just you can't really balance it all because like we've said multiple times with the catalogs and the subscription services, they just throw free games at you, and it just keeps adding on and adding on.
Hmm. That's something I haven't even factored in my backlog. I haven't even factored in the fact that I have PlayStation Plus Premium. There's so many games on there which I want to play. I think what I
Hmm.
might have to do is just write down all them games and play them first, then cancel Premium because it's very expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Since they increased the price, we're like $30, £20.
Hmm.
Like what?
Yeah,
What are they doing? But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to prioritize them because obviously the games I own are not gonna go anywhere.
right.
And
Yeah.
then the next one I've put down was games just take so much longer to complete nowadays. And I was watching a video on someone who was trying to complete their backlog. And they were just there like RPGs are like the killer to backlogs because they just take forever. Like just
Hmm.
exploration, completing the game. It's at least 50 hours worth of gameplay, and if you can only play like 4 hours a day, maybe even less than that, that's 13 days pretty much of
Hmm.
gaming in the year. Like add down to all the other games that you've got, it's tough.
Hmm.
So, I mean, what's the average time it takes for you to complete a game, you think?
Well, now with my living situation, living with my fiance and stuff, I don't game every night, and when I do, it's not for super long periods of time.
Hmm.
I mean, I'll obviously get like a day, maybe every other week or something where I get a good chunk done, but um, I don't know. Like it took me like 2.5 weeks to 100% Valhalla, which that's only a DLC. So, but then also with games like Spider-Man, I think that took me a week to 100% because I was so ready for it. And it helped I had a full day off when it dropped, so put a lot of time into it then. But no, it does take me longer than it ever has to do it, just because I got so much other stuff going on.
Yep.
So I can't imagine a game like The Witcher 3, like how long that would take me. So don't try it.
Oh my goodness. I think my last total from that game, and bear in mind I played the base game twice because I had to go and do it on an easier difficulty to get some of the trophies. And to be fair, my first playthrough was on Death March, which is the hardest difficulty. So like
Hmm.
playing through the hardest difficulty really isn't hard. It's not hard at all. As soon as you get like a tonic that you need and you put it on, you you can heal automatically. It's not
Hmm.
difficult at all. It's like it might be tougher, but like it wasn't difficult. But in total, 168 hours to complete that game, platinum and do the DLC without even doing the DLC trophies. I was fed up with that game. Uh, do you know when you just get burnt out of a game because you've been playing it so much? I felt
Hmm.
that after 168 hours of Witcher
Hmm.
because it's the same combat every single time, and sure, different enemies do different things, but like it's still the same attack moves every time, same fire. So yeah, and that's another thing that you've reminded me. Sometimes games bring out DLCs, so you can't move on to the next
Hmm.
game because you got to go back to the DLC that's just dropped for your best game. God of War, COD, um, COD, but yeah, DLCs really do impact. Like there's add-ons that you could go back on and go, oh yeah, I really want to play this. And
Hmm.
like you mentioned the other day, when Spider-Man 2 brings out new game, is it new game plus? Like
Hmm.
there's no doubt in my mind that you're gonna go over and play New Game Plus because you want to play it again with all the abilities from the start. So
Hmm.
replaying games, updates to games, like this just adds on to why people don't actually complete their backlogs. And
Hmm.
right now, I'm back on Final Fantasy VII Remake. I've already played that game. That's already scratched off my list for hard mode and trophies. So you know, this
Yeah.
has taken me so far. I'm pretty sure like 13 hours, and that's 13 hours that I could have been playing another game. But
Right.
it's what I want to do. So like, yeah, it is tough.
Hmm. This and another like another thing too, and I suffer from this big time is like the feeling that when there's a second or third installment of a series available, you got to play the first one. You got to be able to understand it, understand all the references, and get the whole story. So like Alan Wake, I'm in that with because I need to play the remastered version of the first one before I go out and play the second one. The Far Cries, and I also do it in a way too where I got to play like the the whole part of the franchise that's at least available on PS4 to PS5. So like with Far Cry, I got to do 3, 4, 5, Primal,
New Dawn.
and 6, like New Dawn. Yeah, that's a expand alone. But yeah, it's tough. Like I said, I suffer from that mental block all the time with games. I mean, we literally talked about it like I think it was a year ago when I want to play all the Assassin's Creed games. I just can't play the first one. It's the only one not available,
It's on Steam.
and I yeah, that's nice. On PlayStation, I have not played a single Assassin's Creed game because I cannot play the first one.
Mhm.
So
No, I feel that
yeah.
I'm the same. Really. I have the first one though. That's the thing. So I could play it. Um, haven't got around to it, and
Yeah.
I'm this exact same. Apart from Final Fantasies, because they're all standalone, so I don't need to play Final Fantasy 1 to play Final Fantasy 7. But
Right.
like I've got Uncharted, I've got Tomb Raider, I have BioShock, I have Assassin's Creed, I have Alan Wake, I have so many games that are bundles, second, thirds. So yeah, I need to start playing them more and just do
Yep.
like a marathon on Twitch or something where I'm just playing those games because if I platinum all three of those games, that's a video in itself. Like, doesn't
Right.
have to be just the
Well,
first one.
have you looked at the Uncharted Platinums?
I don't want to. I want to go in
You have
blind.
you have to. Oh, do you not want me to?
Yeah, you can say, go and do it.
Okay. At least I know for the first three, you have to complete the game from start to finish on all five of the difficulties. So good luck there.
Again, the reason why backlogs don't get finished. The games are forcing you to play the game multiple times. I mean, with trophies, hard mode, um, doing it within a certain amount of time on some games like Stray, you've got to complete the game in
Hmm.
under 2 hours. Like some of the trophies themselves force you to stop your backlog and just prioritize them. Especially if
Hmm.
you're like 100% games, like your mind is on that. Um, so yeah, they're insane. Please don't be all five difficulties. That'd be insane. Could it not just
Say
be
it's
be
every different. I guess I don't know if you complete it on crushing, which is the hardest. If it is like an umbrella thing, I don't think it is. Um,
guess
I
I'll
guess
have
I
to
could
have a
always.
look.
I guess I could always look at my trophy list because I've completed the first three on normal. So if I have the easy trophies. But yeah, Uncharted makes you play it a lot because I've looked at platinuming those, but yeah, I do not like the sound of that.
I mean, with COD, if you completed it on veteran, you got all three. So I
Yeah,
know that, but it's whether Naughty Dog are nice with
yeah.
their things. So we'll have a look at that. But another reason why backlogs get big, and we've kind of touched up on it then about the series. Like, there's so many times where I've got the first game, but I buy the second and third before even touching the first one.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
there's so many games where I've like,
Mhm.
well, I've got the first one now, so I might as well buy the other two because I'm sure I like the first game. I haven't even tested it. Like, I could hate the first game and I've just wasted money on the second and third one.
Right.
But yeah, that's so many times where I've fallen guilty of just buying games that are in a series because it's
Hmm.
cool to do. Like, oh, I've got to have them all. It's like Pokemon for
Right.
crying out loud. Got to
Yeah.
catch them all. Got to buy them all.
Yeah.
Um, they've got to be in my backlog.
Hmm. Yeah.
Backlogs, man.
Series, man. They get you.
They really
So
do. And then obviously we've already mentioned new releases. Every year, there's so many releases that just tease you and tempt you. And it's not like sometimes it's not even these big games. Like Lethal
hmm.
Company came out, everyone's playing that. Like no one, I don't think, heard of that game. Only Up came out of nowhere. Among Us, like there's small games that just come out of nowhere, and you're like, I've got to play them. I've got to
Yeah.
play them while they're trending and while they're like active. I missed it on Only Up. I didn't play it. Lethal
Mm.
Company. I think I'm gonna catch it at the end, but like I'm still gonna be playing it. So
Right.
Um, but there's so many games like that. Mortuary Assistant got a lot of views as well back when it came out.
Hmm.
I played that during my birthday stream and got it. It actually stuck for like a few weeks at 666 views. Creepy, creepy. It's on like
That is weird.
670 now, but like that was
Okay.
freaky. I was like, God, please, someone watch the video. I was actually getting creeped out by it, but like, there's so many like for content creators, like there's so many games that get super popular real quick, and you've got to kind of
Hmm.
stay on the trend and just play them. So like,
Hmm.
again, if you have a backlog, you got to keep up with the just the waves that keep coming. Okay,
Right.
Lethal Company now, but once that game, what's next?
Hmm.
There's always the game after it. So yeah, we'll see what game is after that, and maybe I'll have to be quicker to the market for the next one.
Yeah. Possibly. I mean, I guess with you saying Lethal Company Among Us, that touches on the multiplayer games. So that takes up, you know, if you got friends that you play multiplayer games with, that takes up a huge chunk of time that you're not playing a game on your backlog. So there's just not enough time. There's not like you need a clone of yourself to do it.
Multiple,
Yeah, right.
not just one.
Yeah.
Yeah, multiplayer games are the biggest time sink ever. Because one minute you're like, oh yeah, I'll play one game. 5 hours later, one more game.
All right.
Just one more game. We can't end on a loss. Oh,
Yeah.
now we can't end on a win, can we, boys?
Yeah.
Let's go. And you're just stuck in a whole like circle before you end up falling asleep at your setup just there, like, should have went to bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, multiplayer games, like there's so many times where I've been playing Call of Duty, Destiny, Rocket League, FC this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the time sink. Even Hunt Showdown, but I was still platinuming that game, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Apex, like they're just games which they're fun. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel bad for playing them, but when I look at my backlog, I'm just there like I haven't used my time wisely, have I? So
Yeah. I completely get that. Both Rocket League and Smite, I put over 1,000 hours into those games, so I completely get that.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean now since growing up, because obviously I've been collecting games now since whenever. Growing up, I was just getting them, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'll play them eventually, right?" And
Mm-hmm.
I'll just keep playing my multiplayer. But this is a really good deal. I know people like this game. Now I've come to it. I don't really play much multiplayer anymore. I've kind of gone away from that. I'm more of
Mm-hmm.
I want a story after a long day at work. I don't want to go on to a multiplayer and just be in toxic lobbies and stuff like that. Much as
Right.
sometimes it's fun just to give it back to them and like beat them in the game and just tell them to um
Yeah.
sometimes it's just more draining than just chilling out. So like if I
Mm-hmm.
want to play video games, it's gonna be in my backlog. But then you also get the thing is I have 300 games. Which one? it's
Right.
it's tough. But I have a type of backlog which can help me decide. And so I have a physical game backlog. I don't do you have a physical game backlog? Do you have discs?
I do. I have some discs, but it's nothing big. I mean, that's where I have I have all four Uncharted games physically, but it's mainly like sports games that I got. But it's nothing big.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I think I have around 40 games plus them PS2
Yeah.
games. I nearly forgot about them. Like they're right there. They're in camera view. I can't forget about them. Um, but yeah, I've got like 40 games ranging from PS4 and PS5 and some Switch games. Um, but what I do is like I don't keep them after I've finished them. Once I've finished the games, I trade them in.
Yeah.
Um, especially if I know I'm not gonna replay them, I'll trade them in. Like Red Dead Redemption 2. I've not traded that in because I want to play it again sometime.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077, that's still over there because I want to play it again. Like GTA 5, okay, gotta have that. But no, there's some games which I will keep, but like there's some games like I can't remember which ones. Trying to think. CODs, the new CODs, got rid of the Emperor much straight away. The old F1 game I got rid of because I just know I'm not gonna play them again. So
Mm-hmm.
I always trade them in before they go down too much in price before the hype of the next one, because
Right.
then I still get a fair amount back from them, and I can use that to potentially buy the next version.
Mm-hmm.
But then we also have the other one, which I think is the big one, the digital game backlog. It's just easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just
It is.
easier.
It's easier to keep track that way. And it doesn't take up space. physical space. It doesn't take up anything physically. It doesn't make your room look like an eyesore. And again, we keep beating this point, but catalogs, like the catalogs that they give us, PS Plus, Game Pass, um, they're huge.
Yep.
There's so much to them.
Subscription services are just they're basically taking over, and that's its own topic in itself, really.
Yep.
Yeah, just the fact that you can just hop onto your PlayStation now and just buy a game
Mm-hmm.
that quickly.
Yep.
It's that simple. You don't have to go out to a shop, buy a video game, and then come back home. It's so instantaneous. Oh, I fancy playing this game today. Oh wow, look, I've downloaded it. Wow, wow. Oh
Yeah.
wow,
Right.
I'm in the game. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not like you have to go out. But I'm one of those people. I bought a PlayStation 5 that was physical discs because I had so many PS4 games. I want to buy physical. It's like the new Final Fantasy 7 that's coming out. Probably buy that physical because once I can play with it, £70. I can trade
Mm-hmm.
it in and get around £50 back. That's another game. Like I'm recycling games that way. When it's digital, it's there forever. So like I also have to be tactical because like 70 quid is it's quite a lot like for
Mm-hmm.
games nowadays. So like buying physical tempts me a lot because I can get more back from it if I don't want to play it again. Or even
Yeah.
if I do want to play it again, I can get rid of it now for like get £50 back. If it comes out for like £25 in a few years' time, I could buy it again and I've saved a bit of money.
Right.
But yeah, it's just I don't know. Digital is good if there's sales because there's more sales on normally when it comes to digital.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the risk that you kind of could lose your account, so they're not exactly owned by you.
Right. Yeah. That's entirely a different point. I didn't even think about because you know we touched on it. I guess it was a couple weeks ago that Insomniac got hacked. Cybersecurity is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Your account gets hacked, you lose it. If there's no way to recover it, I mean, you lose all those games.
Yep,
So
that is sad. That is very sad, especially when
yeah.
you've bought them all or you've collected them from PlayStation Plus. That's a lot of games, man. That you
Mm-hmm.
would have to replace. Well, I mean, I'll probably do a better job at not buying them rationally. So
Yeah.
they'd probably be doing me a favor.
Right.
I wouldn't think like that, but like, yeah, thanks. You've made my pool of games a lot shorter.
Right.
Um, but I've also put ways to track. So like, we have a backlog. How do you track it?
Um, we kind of talked about it a little bit before the podcast. I don't exactly have a full backlog. I use IGN playlist, and there is a backlog section on there, so I have a few games of like what I'm wanting to play. But that's kind of for like newer releases that I don't want to forget about, and
Mm-hmm.
like I want there to be a reminder so I can be like, oh, I wonder if it's on sale. Go look at it. Um, but I use IGN playlist. It's just the best way for me. I don't get overwhelmed. I don't add all the games that I own because then I won't know where to pick. Like I don't won't know where to start.
No, I get that. My Excel is massive. I honestly, the amount of games I have on there, and that we even spoke about it before, like I'm suddenly going through now with my notebook because I put all my games on a notebook as well. I have 262 games on PlayStation that I want to play. Um, and I'm going through the list now and just putting yes to all the ones that are on PlayStation. Just so I know which ones I can kind of platinum maybe
Hmm.
in the future. There's just so many, and it also then limits like, okay, I see this game. Is it on PlayStation? Yes, I own it. Type of thing. So
Hmm.
yeah, so I use Google Sheets because I link it to my Twitch so people can actually see what games I have.
Right.
However, I might just change it back to Excel because Excel is just so much better for formatting and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, But yeah, there's so much you can do with Excel because, like I mentioned before, my drop down box of whether I want to replay, 100% completed already. I finished, but like not 100% completed. It's a way of I can filter, and I also have on it time to beat. So like I have the how long tracker. So I've manually searched every single game that I added on like 6 months ago. There's a lot of games that I've added recently that I haven't got it on because I'm lazy,
Hmm.
too busy. That I've added on how long gonna scroll down like 300 days worth of games. Like, oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's insane. And that's counting like 999 hours of Final Fantasy 14. So, yeah. Listen, it's a long one. um,
That's an understatement. That's an understatement.
Massively understatement.
God.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you can do a lot with Excel. Just how much you can like do with it, filter it. You can put whatever you want on it. You could even put like how many trophies there are in each game, like bronze,
Hmm.
silver, gold, and stuff like that, and just track that way. You could also track like style of game, whether it's a JRPG, whether it's an RPG, whether it's an MMO, whether it's a first-person
Hmm.
shooter. You just whatever tickles your fancy. And then you've also mentioned there's tracking sites. So there's a
Hmm.
few tracking sites out there which you can put all your games in and they track and you can move it to playlist or completed list because
Yep.
there's one on Twitch extension that I used. I haven't updated in so long. But yeah, I used to use that and then stepped away from it because you could actually rate your games out of 5 and then give a
Hmm.
little review and everyone could see your review though. So I didn't like doing it. They
Oh,
saw
really?
my yeah, they saw my review and they're like I rate game 5 out of 5 and it's like the worst game ever. They'll be like, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was worried.
I get that. I Yeah, but that's the reason why I like IGN playlists so much is because you can rate them out of 10 and put your own review, and then also on their platform you can see it has the how long to beat um, for just normal story for 100%, and then it combines them like for everything, so it breaks all that down, and then you can also just see everyone else's reviews. So it's also a good way to check before you purchase a game. So it's like my main platform that I use for gaming stuff now when I'm looking to play something. So
Maybe I need to add all my games now onto there because I've made an account. I made an account when you mentioned it the first time around. And it is in the description. It's just blank.
yeah, yeah,
Sorry.
I say it's a good tool. There's, like I said, an actual backlog section, and then you can move it into playing. You can move it into paused if you've taken a break, like if you've beaten a game but you need to go back and platinum it,
Hmm.
throw it in the pause category. And then there's a lot of ways to sort the games in your backlog. You can sort them by IGN's reviews, so you can see the highest ones. You can put them in release order. It's nice. It makes it so I don't have to do the work besides just adding the game. So I like that.
And that moves us on nicely to Trace. How
Hmm.
do we choose out of the massive backlogs that we have? How do we choose what games that we want to play when and where, really? Um,
Yeah.
and one I used to do a lot back at the start of my streaming is if someone subbed to me, I used to do an RNG number, and I'd go to my Excel sheet. Okay, you rolled 55. Okay, that's Maneater. Maneater is next in the list, and it carried on going. So the first game was actually COD Ghosts. So COD Ghosts was actually the first game that got drawn, and then it was another small game, and then it was The Witcher 3.
Mm.
After The Witcher 3, I stopped doing it. And I had all my games in the list, like they're all there, like they were all ready, all ordered, of which how often I needed to play and when. But the main thing that came to mind was, what if I really want to play a game?
Hmm.
I'm restricting myself so much by doing this that it's just not entertaining for me anymore. It's not fun for me. Like, it was a
Yeah.
cool idea. I enjoyed the idea of like, oh yeah, now I'll do a rotation, see what game. But I was just losing my mind. I was like, a new game's coming out next week. Am I able to put it next? Because this
Yeah.
person might be upset that I've bumped their game down. And in the end, I just scrapped the whole system. I was like, I'm sorry, but like, this is a game that's coming out. I'm just gonna do next game because I just can't, for the life of me, buy a game, put it in the list, and then, oh wait, I'll play it at the bottom. And
Yeah.
then that's like however many years of games before I even touched the new one that I wanted to play the most. So
Hmm.
I got rid of the RNG. But have you ever used RNG like to determine what game?
Yeah. I mean, I use wheels a lot. Like I have an app on my phone that you can enter a wheel, and that's normally not normally, but it is how I've done it before. And the way I see it, as much randomness as you put into it, I think there's always going to be like a game that you prefer or don't prefer to play at that time. So if you roll it, you might be like, really? But I said RNG, so I'm going to do it, and then it just makes it a little less enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Like I kind of felt that way with Darksiders. If you remember when I played that a couple years back,
I
it was
do,
kind of
yeah.
that thing. Like in all reality, as much as I know some people, shout out Niana, love that game. Um, it was probably the one on that wheel I least wanted to play.
Yep.
So it at times felt like a chore, and it wasn't like I set out to play this kind of thing.
Yep.
But it is still one I want to go back and play. But RNG has its pros and its cons. Pros, you don't got to make the choice, but then cons, sometimes you don't like the choice.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna call Beth now. Um, yeah. Hopefully she doesn't listen to this. She probably won't. Um, but she has one for her books, and the
Mm.
amount of times I don't want to read that. Press again. Press again. It's like, what's the point of me even doing this? In
Yeah,
the end, I just went that one.
yeah.
And I'm just like, oh yeah, okay, I'll read that one. But like, there's so many times where I'm just not in the mood for that. I'm just not in the mood for that. Like,
Hmm.
which is fair enough. But it's like, why have you got a wheel?
Right.
It is mood though, because there is so many times where like it hits a game and just they're like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, RNG does have its pros and cons. I mean,
Hmm.
it's fun to do the wheel. It's fun to see it go around. I think that in
Right.
itself is just the fun aspect. But like, if it is the game that you don't want to play the most, you're just like, you bastard! It could have been so much
Yeah.
better. Um, yeah, I think another reason why I wanted to do the list was I didn't want to play all the good games first. So my way of thinking was, if I do an RNG, it splits up when I play the good games and the not so good games. Like, they're probably all good, but like AAA games here, 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 here,
Right.
and then I'm playing like just good games, but like not AAA. After all them games, and I'm just there like, these aren't as good. I wanted to like split them
Hmm.
up and have a variety. Um, but yeah, it just didn't work. Um, and one that you've said is like games that you just want to play. Like,
Yeah.
and I think that's the biggest one, and I think that's the one that I'm gonna at least promote from now on. It's like, you might have a backlog, you might have one that like a game that you've had in there for 10 years, and you're thinking, oh, I really should play that. I really should play that. If you don't want to play that right now, don't force yourself, because you'll just ruin that game. Like you said with Darksiders, you kind of force yourself to play because of RNG, but like I forced myself in the past where like I've had this game for so long, I need to play it, and just haven't enjoyed it. Like, it
Hmm.
could have been so much better if I just played a different game and then went, oh yeah, actually, I'll play that now. But yeah, I kind of ruined it for myself just in the order I played. So I think right now, I'm playing Final Fantasy 7. Okay, sorry, Final Fantasy, I know. But like, I want to play it because of Rebirth coming out, and it gave me something to want to play. So I've pushed Lies of P to the side right now because I don't really want to play it. I've finished it. I'm in New Game Plus, but a game is taking priority in my head. I want to do this. And maybe
Mm-hmm.
once I've completed Final Fantasy, I'll go back to Lies of P and platinum it on stream. I think I
Mm-hmm.
am going to play it off stream if I can from time to time. Just to try and get more progress and record it just to so that I got the trophies. But like I'm not gonna force myself to play games that I don't want to play at that time anymore. So I'm just gonna
Yeah.
push them to a side and then come back to them. But I've done that so many times that I kind of want to avoid that as well. So oh no, I'm in a massive predicament, and it honestly hurts gaming. It's died again. So every single time in podcasts, you won't see it because I edited it out, and I'm keeping it in this time. Ace will literally go and go because his AirPod has died. So back to just the mobile mic.
Yeah. Woohoo! We're good quality. I'll get something better figured out, but
One day,
it
one
works.
day.
It
Mm-hmm.
works for
So,
now.
do you think it hurts gaming just having so much like?
I don't think it hurts it because again, competition and everything. Um, it probably just depends on the size of the studio. AAA games will never have an issue with how many games there are to play. But like a smaller studio, if you're like gearing up and you got to release a game at a certain time for profitability, and then Sony's like, "Hey, here's Spider-Man New Game Plus," kills it. It can kill your game essentially. So I don't think it really hurts it because I think the more the merrier. It's kind of how I feel with games. Um, just more people working on it, being able to express themselves through the art of video game making doesn't hurt in my eyes. So.
I mean, in terms of like you having the games and like choosing what to pick, does it like affect your gaming experience more than anything?
Right, gotcha. Completely misunderstood. Anyway, no, uh no, it doesn't. It doesn't anymore. It used to, like I said, with the Darksiders thing and that like time of gaming, I kind of just played, and especially multiplayer stuff with my brothers because I always wanted to play games with them. If I didn't like, but everyone else wanted to play it, I made myself play it, and sometimes I just make it unenjoyable. So now it's much more of like, I'm gonna play what I want. If you guys are down to play it when I want, that's cool with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it might sound selfish at some point, but I want to enjoy the hobby that I'm doing. So
Not selfish at all, wanting to play what game you want to play at all. I think it's quite the opposite, to be honest. Like, if people aren't on at the same time as you, that's their miss, man. That's their miss. So yeah, I mean, been so many times like F1 recently where my friends have been playing it. I've been like, "Ah, I really want to play that game, but I'm streaming tonight and I'm playing this game instead." And I just don't switch. I just stream, and then uh, always through the stream, I'm just there like, I really want to go and play F1 with them
mm,
instead. Like, there's an inner conflict in the game trace at times that I make. I'm there like, oh, I could be playing this, I could be playing that. Like, I haven't been in the party chat with my cousin who I played video games with so much back in like PS3 era, PS4 era. I've had a PS5 and I go streaming now and stuff like that. I haven't been in his PlayStation chat for like, I want to say like a year. But like I want to be in there, but I just don't have the time because I want to play all these games and they're just not playing the games I want to play. But like I'm also feel like I'm missing out being not being in there, but like it's been that long now that I don't want to just jump in there and go, "Oh, do you want to play this game?" Because it feels like I'm like, "Oh yeah, now you have a use." Like there's such an
right.
inner conflict with like the game choices I'm making, and it just forces me away from people.
Well, and one thing I always offer too when I get asked to play games, I'm like, no, I'm playing this. Like I'm investing into it. Like especially when Spider-Man came out, my brother, he was really on Apex at the time, and he was like kept asking me. I was like, I'm more than happy to sit in a party chat with you, play our own games, and just like be there in that sense. But usually they're not up for it, which
mhm.
again is on them. It does make me feel bad at points. But like I don't have an issue doing that. That I honestly prefer that because then you can talk about stuff as it happens. I mean, that's one of the big draws to streaming. So if I don't really have the time for that,
Mhm.
then party chat with people. It's a lot of fun to me.
Yeah. And I guess my only gaming time really is when I'm streaming. So like it is very tough to play with friends at the same time as streaming. Like some people are experts at it. I was good at it at the start when my sole priority was multiplayer, Call of Duty. People in my party chat, and I was speaking to them while also speaking with the chat. But over time, you don't lose the ability to multitask on both game chat and stuff like that and the chat, but like you get distracted more. You can't keep up as quickly as you used to be able to. Um, so I have a real inner conflict that I really want to like go and hang out with my cousin and stuff who I haven't spoke to in like a year now. I did bump into them for the Race for Life last year in May. That's the last time I've seen them. Um, but like yeah, I always feel bad, and if he ever listens to this, I'm sorry I haven't been in bar chat. I'm just in a conflict. I don't want to just join and this is the villain like, oh, you haven't joined in 1 year. What do you want?
Right.
um, but again, it's all my choice. Like the games I play, I don't play Call of Duty anymore, so like still play COD. So yeah, it's definitely game choice affects that as well. Not even backlogs, just like who you play with, and yeah, it can have a negative effect, and backlogs have a negative effect on people. I feel.
Yeah. It just feels like an overwhelming task, and we've said it. It's very hard, if not impossible, to complete.
hmm Now, I watched a YouTube video, and they set themselves a target for 2023 to complete their backlog, and I think it's their name was Daryl Plays Games. Um, so they set it out. They had a 76 game backlog and they wanted to complete it. And I watched their video this year of I completed my backlog. I went on it, and basically what they had done is halfway through they knew they weren't going to complete it. They removed some of the games that were on there because they just didn't want to play it anymore. And eventually they were just there like, well, I don't like this game, so I'm not gonna complain. So in the end, some months they were just abandoning games like 2 hours in because they were like, I'm not gonna complete my backlog, but I shouldn't be forcing myself to play these games if I'm not gonna enjoy them. And it's like there's there's a difference between playing a game that you enjoy and playing a game that you're just not feeling. Like it does begin to feel like a chore. And I think one of the main things he said was he probably would enjoy the games, but he set himself a massive time scale of I'm doing this all in a year, and he promised a year, and he was like, I can't come back with in a year's time say I didn't complete it.
Right.
So he was like, I put this time scale on myself. I put that added pressure that was unnecessary on something I enjoy, and it took away the just excitement and enjoyment levels. So yeah, it's just it's one of those like that was one of the big ones because I was watching a few of them videos just there like how do you sort your backlog, and they were Excel and they went through it and they were like, yeah, I burned myself out. I don't know, man. I think I always love talking about my backlog. I always do. Like, if you go into a Twitch chat, I'm like, oh, my backlog is massive. Like, it kind of seems like a flex.
Yeah.
No, it kind of does. Like, oh, I've got a massive backlog of like 300 games that I need to play. Like, it's kind of a flex at this point, like how many games I've got, and people have more than me. But like, it's always cool to like say, yeah, I've got tons of games. I'll get to it eventually, knowing that full well I probably won't in a very long time.
Yeah.
But eventually, like I could be 50 still playing the games I own now. So it is what it is. But I don't want to add the time pressure, because if I add the time pressure, I'm gonna stress myself out.
Yep.
I'm gonna not be as healthy or as happy as I am now,
Yeah.
especially around the people I'm around. So like, yeah, hobby's supposed to be my escape from life, not my not my worst nightmare.
Yeah. I after this podcast, in all honesty, I think I'm going to sit down and go through the PS Plus catalog and my own library and kind of sort it through on IGN playlist.
He's making a backlog after we're saying it's a nightmare.
Yeah,
You.
and I was talking about calling me, but in all honesty, I think part of the reason is you have it noted here like a top 10 games that you want to play. I think maybe doing it that way. So I'll have my backlog, but whenever I come to it, I'll select out like 10 and then just don't look at the backlog after that, and then just kind of sort through those and play them as I will.
Mm-hmm.
And I like I said, if it ever starts to overwhelm again, it's it's an app. I can delete it pretty quickly. So you
You're
know,
not wrong. You're not wrong. And honestly, that this is inspired by me actually buying Beth a Christmas present. Um, for books, I bought her a TBR basket, so to be read basket, and she said she's found it so much easier to read books because she's limited the amount to just that basket.
mm-hmm.
And she goes through it, she reads it. I think she's read 7 books this year already, man. She's read a lot
Wow.
of books, and she messaged me before, like she's already on page 100 of this book. Like she's flying through her TBR this year because she's narrowed it down to what she wants to read. And she set herself the goal this year. It's like every book that she owns and she hasn't read, she's gonna read it
Okay.
just before buying another book. So I need to take inspiration
Yeah.
of what Beth's doing. But again, digital is harder because they're always in your face, like all these other games. Um, but PlayStation does have a collection thing. I might start doing it where I just add 10 games to that collection and I don't look at my big collection, I just look at the ones I've added to that one. And once I've completed one, you know what? I'm not even going to add another one to keep it up to 10. I'm going to finish the 10 first and then add another 10. I think I'm going to do that because
Yeah.
honestly, I am overwhelmed. Um, and I also do the thing where I play the sub ones and they could be added anyway. They could be additional ones. So I'm not going to be overwhelmed playing their ones because, like, they're the ones which people supported me by subbing to the channel and stuff. Like, I'm not going to stress out playing them games. It's more the games that I've chosen and I've played that I'm stressing out over. Um, but no, like I've got on the list as well, inspired by those around them. Like this TBP list is definitely something that's inspired by Beth. So I mean, and that's could be like you playing God of War. Like you're inspiring me to play God of War right now. Uh,
Demand.
hmm?
I'm demanding it.
Well, am I inspiring you to play Final Fantasy?
Actually, yes. I mean, we talked about it. We even joked about it before. It was a game that I rolled my eyes at. But once you kind of explained to me how standalone they are, it does not seem nearly as daunting to me, and I'm more willing to try it. And also after seeing you play it, um, because that normally isn't my type of like art style and kind of you know visual thing I like. But the game actually looks pretty good. And I mean, you threw in a big chicken while I was watching you, and you know that seems fun to me. So
Chocobo.
yeah,
Yeah, that is great. That is fantastic. And I guess also inspired by those around them also means like I notice a lot, and especially on Twitch, like a community will play the similar games, like a lot of games. Like the community I'm in, like they started playing Final Fantasy 14. I kind of joined the trend because I don't know I saw how people were playing it and it looked good. It's kind of like just seeing how much fun they're having and like okay, let me test out that game. And I also feel like people do it because they see how much like they're growing on that game as well. Kind of like a oh, if I played this game, like this is how much success this person's having on it. Like surely it'll be replicated if I go and play that game as well because we're similar sized channels and stuff like that. So again, something that you can be influenced by is other people playing games, and you're just there like, okay, I could play that game, and I really want to. Why don't I play it now? Because their viewers are familiar with the game. They might come over and say hello because they follow me, because obviously we're part of the same community, and it's kind of networking with the same game, but trying to take advantage of it but like not take the piss really. And that's something that I've tried not to do because I played Final Fantasy 14 because everyone kind of played it, and I really enjoyed the game, but like everyone plays it, and I felt like I was taking advantage. So I've took a step back. And everyone's playing Kingdom Hearts 1 now. I feel everyone's playing Kingdom Hearts, and I have all Kingdom Hearts. I'm just there like I'm not playing them right away. Like I just can't. Like everyone's asking me to play Kingdom Hearts 1, but I feel like they're asking because everyone else is playing it, and it's like in their mind right now. But I don't want to jump on like because they may think I'm copying them. Um, so again, there's a fine line there about am I copying someone? Um, which I wouldn't be because I own the game and you can play any game you want, but
Right.
it's just an inner worry again. There's so much worrying this stream, this podcast, this entire universe. It's just a worry.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But I'm gonna get a backlog together. I think like you said, the PlayStation folder probably be a good idea. And I think to start, I'm gonna take a little Beth approach and kind of play what I own, especially my physical copies, because I got them in a tote out there. So my Uncharted games. I have I think Fallout 4 on there, which I've never tried since I got it like when it came out, and I didn't like it then. But more of a single player game now, so maybe I'll enjoy it a little more. Um, so I think that's kind of the route I'm going to take with it, but we'll see. I'm sure at some point I'll change my mind. So
I mean, you already have this year with Nintendo games, so I wouldn't put it past you, mate.
yep,
I
you're
mean,
not.
that's another thing. Like, that's a massive backlog thing. Like, you wanted to do it because you wanted to expand your backlog, but then you found something else that you'd want to do instead. Like, it happens, and you're gonna be happier doing what you're doing now instead of forcing yourself to do something which, I mean, goals are good, but like, you can break them. Like, you don't have to follow them. Like,
Yeah,
there's so many times where I've said on stream or something like that, I'll do this, and then I'm just thinking afterwards, like, oh, why did I promise this? Because I'm just gonna not like it, and I'm gonna force myself to play it, and I'm not gonna like. It's not gonna be a nice experience. But then I do it, and it's fine. But like, it's the worry before doing that. It's like, oh, really? I'm so dumb.
yeah. All right, and on to the last segment of the show. We have our game. Um, if you do not know how the scoring goes, Grubb, how does it go?
The game is simple. Each week, one of us gives clues to the other, and they have to guess what we're trying to describe. Now, every week we will alternate what position we are doing. So, one week will be the guesser, the other week will be the one given the clues. And the scoring is also extremely simple. If you get it right on the first clue, you will get 5 points. Get it right on the second one, you get 4 points, and so on until you've got it wrong at the end, and then you will get a big 0 points. At the end, you will see a running total, and at the end of the year, whoever wins is the best guesser in the world. Hopefully, you understand the scoring system. That's going to be like the automated one from now on. We know the rules, but hopefully you understand it. So the first clue for you this week is this character was first introduced in 2011.
Shit, 2011. God, I'm really bad with years too.
Okay, I know what to start every single question with now.
Yeah, yeah. You're welcome. I don't know. My brain always goes to Call of Duty right away. I don't know what COD came out in 2011.
We literally did a COD podcast last week with
Yeah,
all the CODs in.
I know, and we had the years in front of them. I know. Trust me. I want to say it's Advanced Warfare, but I feel like I'm way off. No,
MW3.
it's MW3.
Yeah.
Jesus. See, I'm bad with years. God, I don't know, man. Crash Bandicoot. I know that's wrong, but
Okay. I was not introduced firstly in a video game, but I can speak multiple languages. There you go.
wasn't. Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
So
See, I wanted to add not in a video game in the first clue, but I feel like that was too nice. So I've added in to the second one instead.
from
Not
like
a
a
video
movie
game, and it can and they
show,
can speak 2 languages.
2 languages,
Yes.
movie or a TV show, dude.
I've been really mean this week because I made it too easy for you in the first one. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Wow, I can't even think of an example that fits that. If I'm being honest,
To be honest,
I
neither
can
did
think
I.
of the other way around.
Hit me.
Well, no, I'm saying like a game that goes into a movie or a TV show.
Oh, yeah.
It brings me to Telltale Games because I know they do a lot of stuff with like already licensed products. I mean, The Walking Dead. I don't know. I haven't played through them. I don't know if there's any characters from the TV show. I don't know. I'm gonna guess Glenn. I want to say he was maybe in the first one, but I could be wrong.
Nope. My creation was inspired by Barack Obama.
This still doesn't help.
Doesn't help?
No.
I thought you might have got this. I thought you might know the history.
I'm drawing a blank on it.
Oh, wow.
Creation was inspired by Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Lord, I do not know.
Any guesses?
No, I can't even come up with a guess. Really,
Just say one. Just say something.
Barrett. I don't know.
Barrett from Final
Yeah.
Fantasy?
Yeah.
No. Next clue. I live in New York.
I gotta think of the movie, the TV. First appeared in a movie.
I'm going to give you another clue because you think in movies. It's not a movie. It's a comic book.
Oh, jeez. It's superhero, then, I would assume. Inspired by Barack Obama, though? So it's like a more recent. Okay, can I like get some clarification? The character themselves, is it like the video game portrayal that's inspired by Barack Obama or the entire character?
I think it's the entire character from my research.
This is bad.
It really is. I thought you would have got it by now.
So it's
I honestly thought you would got it on the third one.
2011
2011.
comic book
Yep.
inspired by Barack Obama that lives in New York City. What
And
the hell?
And they can speak
Oh, they can speak 2
2
languages.
languages.
That doesn't me though. God, I do not know. This is unfortunate. Game came out in 2011 based off a comic book. Character lives in New York. It's not Lee from The Walking Dead, is it?
No.
Okay.
So is that your guess?
Yeah.
The final clue, and this is for 1 point. I'm in all the Spider-Mans.
What?
Oh my god. Oh my god. How the new Spider-Man, the Marvel Spider-Mans. I'm in all the Marvel Spider-Mans.
Okay. Then there's only one person. Oh, but 2011. That's the part that's throwing me off.
Yeah, but
It's like they're
they weren't introduced into a video game until Marvel Spider-Man. They were
that's why
they were first introduced in 2011, but I said not in a video game. In
you
this,
did. Uh,
I literally said that in the second one. It wasn't in a video game. I mean, and then I
that's on
did say,
that's me.
like, it's going to be a video game character, but
All
like I
right.
said, they weren't introduced first in. So can you guess them now?
Still not really. Like, I don't know for sure. I have a guess. Is it? But I just don't know the history of him. Is it Mr. Negative?
No, you got 0
Oh,
points.
got 0.
Miles Morales. He speaks 2 languages, man. He speaks English and Spanish. He was inspired by the Barack Obama's election. He was
Know that.
he was introduced in 2011. And
Huh.
he lives in New York. I can't believe that stunted you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so stuck on the 11 part because I did like Spider-Man crossed my mind before the League S, but then I was like, the first one didn't come out in 2011. I completely forgot about that part of the clue.
Yeah.
So, which I mean, that's on me. That's the game's the game.
I
So,
didn't make it hard, but like I thought in the second one we saying no, it wasn't in a video game, like in 2011 was gonna help, but
if
yeah,
I would have remembered,
yeah,
probably.
that's a shame. It's a shame. I honestly thought like I don't know. I didn't want to make them easy clues to start with, but I thought at least the last two you would go a point.
Yeah.
I think the thing should be like 3 points should be the time where we should start to understand the character if we know the game type thing.
Yeah.
Which I thought again more the history. I thought you would get it on the third one. But no. I'm sorry. You get 0 points. I'm so sorry. After me saying next week, I hope you have a bad score. I thought I'd done nice questions. I am in for a world of pain next week. Um, so if you want to listen to the guesses next week, you know where to find us. PowerUp Podcast. We're here every Monday, 8 p.m. GMT. 2 p.m. is it Central Time?
Mm-hmm.
2 p.m. Central. And then you can just try and work it out from those time zones. Again, this has been Power Podcast. Thank you all for listening. But before we go, Ace, where can we find you?
At AceTheTurtle TV on most things, YouTube, X, Twitch, and then IGN playlist is AceTheTurtle. So, where can we find you?
Everywhere GrubbPlays, so Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, kind of. But if you don't actually remember where, every link is in the description. So all you have to do is go down below, have a look, follow the links, follow us, subscribe to us, wherever the website tells you to do. If you're on Twitch and it says to subscribe, just follow. You don't have to subscribe, you just follow. But no, like You can just find me everywhere on GrubbPlays, and you can find everything PowerUp Podcast also in the description. And yeah, we're looking forward to more podcast topics. Again, this one is it wasn't the biggest one, but we wanted to choose a smaller one which we could just talk about, and just have a little bit more fun than spending 3 hours on Call of Duty. Just- that was a lot, and that was a lot of editing. So now it's a lot shorter, and I feel more refreshed after editing it. So
Yeah.
again, thank you all for watching and listening, and we'll see you all next week. Goodbye.